Hey guys, it's Choose to 5000. I figured I'd do some videos on starter generators. Since I searched online and I couldn't really find many videos on either disassembling these or taking them apart or so on. So I figured I'd show you what the process is. It's not too hard to do. It's still warm. I had to torch those bolts, well, heat them up, and then I got this ginormous screwdriver here and vice grips on here for leverage, and I was able to free those two bolts. There's one on each side. Those hold a plate which holds on the fields for the starter gen. Here are the new ones, made in Mexico. These you get a whole kit right on eBay. Got the bearings, got all the screws, got the springs, got new brushes. And I paid, I think it was $55 for that kit, which is I thought was actually pretty good, because that's half the price of buying a new starter generator, which new one would be all new, but this is original because this is the Delco Remy, not a China reman or whatever. So but first thing you gotta do if you want to disassemble your starter gen, here's the housing. Now on the housing, this thing's still a little warm. You got the back cover. This is the back cover. This goes on the back here. There's a pin here. This would go like that. And then this is your front cover. This normally would have the pulley sticking off of it, but I have it all apart. And this would go here. Okay, so that's basically what you're looking at, minus the shaft with the pulley on it. And you have these very long bolts. Got two of these. I think these are 7/16. And there's two of them on this back cover. Right there, those two. You take them out. And in theory, this cover should come off. It's not going to fall off like that, because there's a bearing that goes in here, and that bearing goes on this side of the shaft. So what you might have to do is you might have to tap on it a little bit here and there, and if you look, this actually one looks like it's been bent. Now, I didn't do that as far as I can tell. If it is bent, it's very, very little. Be careful not to do that. You could always take a screwdriver and pry it. We got one in here. Yeah, this one. And if you got to, you can take a screwdriver. You can always walk it, get under here, and then pop it off like that. You might have to work around to get the cover to actually come off. Then the front, with this whole unit here, will be in on this cover, and basically you just take this cover, and you might maybe have to tap it a little bit, and the whole unit comes off. You know, this will be on here with the bearing and so on, but this whole thing should slide right out. And then when this is on here, you have a little dust shield on the inside. This is a retainer also, and you gotta do is you gotta take off the three little screws. Here's one of them. These go like this. That's on there, just like that, with the three screws. But this will be in here like so, and it's not going to have much room. But usually, you probably don't actually have to take off that cover first. You can take this and take off your pulley. Here's your pulley. There's a little tiny keyway on the shaft here. You can see the slot. You have to take off that and your pulley. Here's your pulley. This is a 15/16 nut. I just took it off. I believe that is what it is. And you have to find a way to take off this pulley. I use a 2-jaw puller, which is over here still. I use a 2-jaw puller, and those jaws will get right underneath that. Basically, you can just turn that by hand. You don't even have to use much for leverage. And that 2-jaw puller is a blue point, so it's a snap-on. So if you guys do need a 2-jaw puller, that one I've had for many years. But that one works great. I use that to do my steering wheels too on the tractors. So once you get your pulley off, then what I usually do is I usually just take this cover and I span the jaws on the vise and tap on the shaft here. It doesn't take very much. It pretty much slides right out of the bearing. And this is the bearing that was in there. This is kind of crunchy and not very good. So that one's junk. So this bearing goes in the cover that was in there. You just take a punch and you can tap it right out once you get off your cover here, your seal. And then you can separate this from here. Next step is there's a bearing that goes on here as well. I do not actually have the right puller to take them off, so I end up cutting the inner bearing race and just put a, cutting it with a die grinder, and it works fine. But how I do it is, because the bearings are so hard, all you gotta really do is tighten that end of the bearing in the vise, and it actually breaks the outer race. It is pretty dangerous because you do not know where these are gonna go, but it's actually fairly easy to do. You're gonna just have to watch yourself. And this is the ball bearing cage, and as the inner race, I just cut them, and just a little bit. You can see it just barely went through, if you could see it, and just a little bit of heat from cutting it. This expands it enough, and you can just tap it off with a chisel, cold chisel. So then you have that. This is basically what you get right here after you take your pulley off, your front bearing, your back bearing. And that's ready to go. You can put on your new bearings and put them in and put your new bearing in here and so on. Now, the thing I could never find out is how to take off these screws, but as we use a torch and they came right loose. So I'm going to take these off right now, and this will actually be my first time doing these. Not too difficult, but if you've never done one, it's going to be different. So, I've already got these loose, both of these, I got them loose. I think they gave you new ones, right? Yeah, they gave you new ones. And we'll see. I don't even really know if these fields are bad, but I'm taking the whole thing apart. I'm going to just rebuild it. That way I know that it's all good. So we're going to take these off. We're going to do one at a time. Actually, I'm going to leave that one in. I'll take one out right now and go from there. Alright, so now we're going to take the big screwdriver. Take out these screws. That should make that plate fall off. Might just fall off. I'm not going to catch it. Alright, there you go. So there's a screw. See, screw. These are thread locked in, so that's why they do not just fall out. And we're going to pick the housing up. And you do not want to come out, do you? Oh wait, what do we got here? We got another. Okay, so those are together, so I do have to take those out. Alright, we're going to take those. Like I said, guys, I've never done these, so I'm going to show you on video. I guess they have to come out as a one piece, but not to worry. Alright. Okay, that one's out. Just got to tap this, get that loose. Okay. There are your fields. You can see that they are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of dirty and whatnot, and getting pretty bad, just put it that way. But you can see how they came out. So these went in just like that. So now you're going to leave them together like so, and then take the new ones and copy them. You're obviously going to have to take these plates off. And yeah, these are very dirty. I'm going to reuse all of those on the new ones. They're going to have to just clean them up. That one's actually get a little warm, but that's okay. Alright. Now, like I said, I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if those look bad or not. But, I'm just going to still change them anyway. You keep these as spares. I don't know if they ever worked. I never got the tractor running enough to, let me get the rag here. My hands are pretty black. Might want to even wear gloves when you're doing this, just because. So, here's the new ones. They are not connected together. So, but they are the same numbers. So now I have to figure out how to do this. And I probably won't do this on video because I'm going to have to figure it out myself here. Whereas that one did not have. See, those they just connected together. I guess these they just expect you to link them together. Alright. Well, I guess it doesn't matter as long as everything's hooked up the same, huh? Alright. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm going to hook them up same way. Okay, and how did they do this? See, they soldered that one on. Alright. They didn't solder on the other one. So, well guys, I'm going to stop right here. The video is getting 12 minutes or so. And I'll do another video and possibly either put them together or just put two separate videos. So this will be a starter generator rebuild. This is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. See you guys later.